Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Kristen Gear. I am the Director of Operations for BNI Arizona, and each week I provide a weekly education nugget called Wisdom Wednesday that counts as one chapter education unit for watching. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Wisdom Wednesday. Super excited to have you all with us today. So, our topic today, guys. We have, first, a couple extra reminders. So if you guys didn't know, we do have a BNI Arizona calendar. So if you go to bniarizona.com, click on the calendar link, you'll be able to see all of the upcoming events. One of the things I don't know if a lot of people know about is that there is a weekly national speed networking event hosted every Tuesday. The sign up is on the BNI Arizona calendar. So you don't have to go to any crazy site to find the information. All you have to do is go to bniarizona.com, click on the calendar link, and you'll see the National Speed Networking event. So if you have a business that you'd love to connect with members cross-state, this would be a perfect opportunity for you. They do a lot of breakout rooms to where you get to mix and mingle with members from all over the United States. So make sure to check that out. We also have our member success program training on that calendar. So if you're a brand new member, you can find the Zoom version of the MSP training right on our BNI Arizona calendar. We also have the MSP 2.0 and Business Builder. So there is two opportunities to complete your new member success program training. Now, if you're a seasoned member, you can by all means take that training as many times as you'd like. You can take the Zoom training multiple times. You can go through all of the different Business Builder versions. The Business Builder version, the MSP 2.0, is incredible. It has a brand new manual, lots of amazing tools in it. Highly recommend checking out, even if you're a seasoned member. If you go into your training and you don't see the MSP 2.0, just send me an email. Email's the best communication, and I can assign that to you so that way you have all of the updated materials, because it really is incredible. They have gone above and beyond with updating all of the details on that. So make sure to check that out. Today, I actually wanted to touch on a topic that actually someone, Gordon had posted, I think it was about a week ago, on this Facebook page, all about the different levels of referrals. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately about referrals, how to count them, what qualify, like all of these different things around referrals. So I think this would be a perfect opportunity to expand on that information through Wisdom Wednesday, because if you didn't know, there are multiple levels of referrals. If you go into your referral slip in BNI Connect, at the very bottom, you're going to notice the 5 different levels of referral. Now, a lot of times we just don't pay attention to that, right? It automatically defaults to a level 1 referral when you're submitting the referral, unless you change it to a different level. Now, because of the different levels, and there's so much information to learn about BNI, I want to make sure everyone knew kind of what those levels were. Now, a referral, to qualify something as a referral, it would need to be that the name and contact information, they are interested in either learning more about their services or are ready to buy today. It does not mean that it doesn't need to be a guaranteed sale. It just means that they're interested in learning more about the business. So, but there's multiple levels of how we can introduce that referral to another member, right? So the very first thing, and I actually got this question literally 20 minutes ago, which was perfect timing for Wisdom Wednesday. I always pick Wisdom Wednesday topics from frequently asked questions throughout the week. So make sure that if you ever have any BNI questions, send them my way. You may see some extended information on an upcoming Wisdom Wednesday. But a lot of Facebook tagging, Nextdoor tagging is all the rave these days, right? If someone posts needing a connection, we are so fast to tag our fellow BNIers, raving about their services and saying, hey, you need to contact this person. Now, just tagging someone in a post does not count as a referral, guys. I'm going to repeat that. tagging someone in a post, let's say someone's asking for a plumber and you tag your amazing plumber that's in your chapter saying, hey, you need to contact this person, that does not count as a referral. Now, how to take that to the next level to count it as a referral, I would private message that person and make sure that they've connected. Once they've connected, then it counts as a referral. Then you can submit it in the system as a referral. But you need to make sure that they've connected. Just throwing someone's name out into the universe does not count as a referral because you want to make sure that they've connected. Now, we always want to make sure that we're passing referrals and not leads. However, if there is a type of lead that a member is looking for, if it's approved by the member to send it, then that is the only way a member can pass a lead to a fellow member. For example, I think it was a couple years ago, I was at a chapter meeting and the real estate agent was asking for information on for sale by owner signs because they wanted to personally reach out to the homeowners who had those signs in their yard. Now, in those situations, it wouldn't be a personal connection. A member just drives past the house, sees the sign, and is like, hey, that's what my member's looking for. And they send the information to the member as a referral in the system only because that member personally asked for that specific connection to send their way. So that's the only time a lead would be okay to send a fellow member is if that member personally said that that specific situation is okay to send them. So on the flip side, outside of those unique situations for sending leads, outside of that, we're sending amazing referrals, right? So there's 5 different levels of referrals. And I think a lot of times when we're sending referrals, it's actually more on the lower level most of the time. However, if we can get better as referral partners to level up that referral, the higher the referral, the easier it is for the member to potentially close the deal. So again, a referral doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed sale, but they have to be interested in their products and services for it to qualify as a referral. So level 1 referral. Now, all of this is a accumulation for each of these different levels. So when you're going from a level 1 to level 2, level 3, like a level 3 includes also the information from 1 and 2. So it adds up over the 5 different levels. So the very first level is when you just send out and you connect the member with the potential referral's name and contact information. That's it. Like if you, let's say I had a neighbor who is looking to connect with a plumber for things that they have going on in their house, I would ask them if the plumber could reach out to them. I send the referral in the system saying, hey, here's the name and phone number for the contact. Make sure to connect. That's all I was giving them. It was just basic information, just name and contact information. Now, a level 2, when we're sharing that referral, so if I was talking to my neighbor and let's say I had a flyer from the plumbing company, or if I had a link to their website so that way the neighbor could learn additional information about their business, that would give them additional supplemental material about the member. That's a level 2. So now they have their name, contact, and some more information about their business. Now, level 3, so taking it to the next step. Now, a lot of times, I would say a good majority of the referrals that are passed within BNI are a level 3. Because most of the time we've had personal experiences with the member and we're able to share that personal experience. So if I had already used the plumber, I gave my neighbor their contact information, some more supplemental information about their business, but now to take that to a level 3, I'm going to share my own personal experience that I had with the plumber to share with with my neighbor, because then that validates that connection even further. That will help solidify that referral with the neighbor when I'm personally sharing my story with them to kind of lock in that deal, right? Or help lock in that deal. So that's level 3. So now we've got name, contact, we've given some more supplemental material about the business, and now we're sharing our experiences. Now, to take it to level 4, you're doing all of the things up into a level 3, and then in addition to that, we're making a personal phone call between the people and arranging a connection or a meeting. So let's say I was talking to my neighbor, and then I called the plumber while I'm talking to them, and I'm personally helping them connect and set up a connection. That would be a level 4, because now I'm personally, as the member that's passing the referral, I'm doing more of the work on my end to make sure that that referral gets connected with that member, so with that plumber, right? Because I'm personally helping walk them through the situation to make sure that they get connected, so that way that plumber can help my neighbor with what they have going on. And usually in bigger situations, this could be really, really helpful, because then you're looking like the master connector, and you're, in essence, the facilitator between the member and that referral, so that way you know for sure 100% that they've connected. Again, still not a guaranteed sale, but you're facilitating that connection. Now, to take it to another step, there's 5 levels. Can you believe there's 5 levels? So when you are taking it to the next level, you're making an in-person introduction, and there's mutual edification when that level 5 comes into play. So you've got the contact information, you've got the supplemental material, you're giving them the testimonials, you're personally connecting them, and now you're creating an in-person introduction, and there's mutual edification going back and forth between the member. That referral, the percentage of that referral closing is really, really high at this point, because it's pretty much a done deal, right? They just need to follow through and get everything done. So I want to make sure that everyone understands like how much is involved with that level 5 referral. Now, as referral partners and as power team members, that level 4 and 5 is amazing, right? We want to strive to those level 4 and 5s. Now, again, most of the time our referrals are going to be that level 3, but just sharing the contact information and even some additional supplemental material, that goes a long way as well. So depending on the situation and what's going on, and sometimes depending on the profession, we're having to let that referral reach out to them, right? Especially for legal professions and different things. Now, that personal phone call and connection may work really, really well in those types of situations, because then you're personally making sure that they've connected and they're moving forward with getting things done. So make sure that when you're submitting your referrals that you're paying attention to those different levels and really gauging of how much information and how much of that connection you're really doing when it comes to passing a referral. Now, I know that there have been lots of questions over the past couple years on when members refer other members. I would say when a member is referring another member to a member, it's all these member connections. The biggest question I get is who gets the credit for the referral when the member is referring another member to a member? And I would say communication is key, guys. Decide as a group whether the person making the introduction for the member to the member gets the referral. Usually that initial member will get the referral, and then for the member that used the other member, I know this is really getting confusing, right? Gets the maybe the initial closed business goes to the original member, and then the ongoing, if there's more, goes to the member that is using the member's services. Again, communication between who's submitting the referral, that way it's not duplicated in the system. That's going to go a long way when it comes to submitting referrals. But we also want to make sure that we are logging all our referrals. Another question that I've been getting a lot and also been hearing at some of the chapter meetings is the difference between an inside and an outside referral. I want to make sure to clear this up with everybody as well. Because in the app, it'll ask you if it's an inside referral and outside referral. And some people are confusing what that actually means. An inside referral does not mean inside your chapter. An inside referral means that you personally are using someone's services. That's an inside referral. Now, if I was referring my neighbor, that's an outside referral. It doesn't mean that you're referring outside your chapter. It means that you're referring someone other than yourself. So inside referral is referring yourself. So we're logging all of the referrals that we are personally using other member services. And then an outside referral is when I refer someone other than myself to any member in BNI, whether it's in my chapter or outside of my chapter, any member of BNI. Inside and outside, it all dictates of who's using that member services, whether it's you personally or if you're referring someone other than yourself. So I want to make sure that everyone has that clear, because that personally translates over to the thank you for closed business side. Because an inside thank you for closed business is when you receive business, like a tier 1 is when you receive business from a member personally. Tier 2 is when you receive a member business from the member's referral. And then when the referral is a referral, which is always the best case, right? Those level 3 and up, that's a tier 3 thank you for closed business because you received business from a referral. So, hope this clears up a lot of questions, confusion, all of that kind of stuff around referrals, because we want to make sure that we're getting everything logged in. Biggest thing is making sure that we're not logging in just random connections on Facebook unless you know that they've connected. So just tagging someone on social media does not count as a referral, guys. So make sure we're not logging those because those are leads, because we don't know if they've really connected. Unless someone personally says that the member says that a referral for them or they're looking for those types of things. So if the member approves you sending them a lead, that's the only time a lead would be allowed in the system, is if that member actively said that they are looking for you to send them leads. So yeah, let's log all our referrals, guys. I've been seeing a ton of influx. Now that it's after the holidays, everyone's getting back into the groove with things. So let's make sure we're tracking all of the business. Now, each referral, it is per relationship. So this is another question I got recently. This is all tying together. This is perfect. So when it comes to repeat thank you for closed business, if it's a monthly service, it's one referral for the monthly service and then ongoing thank you for closed business. So it's repeat thank you for closed business each time, but it's one connection. So it's only one relationship. It's the same service over and over. So it's nothing new. So it's going to be one referral, but ongoing thank you for closed business, because a referral is intended to be a new relationship or new connection to that member. That's what the referral piece is. But the thank you for closed business, that's ongoing. You get credit for every part of the thank you for closed business that keeps coming in from that initial referral. So we also want to make sure that we're tracking all of the business that is a result from the referrals that we're receiving from BNI, whether it's from current members, past members, visitors. If you didn't know, there is especially for our newer members, in the Thank You for Closed Business drop-down menu at the very bottom of the member list, there's a thank you to BNI and a thank you to visitors. The thank you to BNI is intended to submit thank you for closed business for BNI business that, let's say a member was in BNI, but they left, but they're continuing to send you business. They don't have a name to associate with that business, so you select thank you to BNI because that was business that was a result from BNI. And then for visitors, if a visitor visits your chapter and they pass you business, which awesome, You want to log that business too. Now, it won't count, the visitor can't submit a referral, right? So you want to make sure that you're logging that thank you for closed business slip and thanking visitor in the member dropdown instead of an actual member's name. They say about each visitor passes about $1,500 worth of business to members of the chapter. And I would say that's actually low because I don't think enough people are logging that thank you for closed business. So let's make sure we're logging all of that activity so it tracks all the numbers correctly. If you do select thank you to BNI or thank you to visitor, it does count towards your chapter's thank you for closed business numbers. It doesn't go into like a magic BNI bucket or magic visitor bucket. It'll actually show on your PALMS report for your chapter, thank you to BNI. So for our leadership team members, when you're viewing the PALMS report and you see at the very bottom the BNI row and the visitor row, that means that members had logged business thanks to a BNI connection or thanks to a visitor. Because all of those thank you for closed business totals on that report is the business that those members passed to another member, not how much they received from BNI. So it's how much BNI has passed to a member and how much visitors have passed to a member. So it's pretty cool that some of those numbers end up on like the top of the leaderboard too in some of the chapters. So if you ever have any questions about referrals or how to log thank you for closed business, let me know. I'm happy to help. I believe there's also a document attached to this page that will walk you through all of the different activities and how to submit it as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's Wisdom Wednesday. And as always, make sure to go log one chapter education for watching. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.